When people hear about you, they immediately think of one thing: brutality. You live isolated in the middle of the jungle and rivers, primitive, barbaric. Your statues are scary, and you worship many gods, so you need to sacrifice virgin girls so your empire is saved from drought. You are an Aztec. Most modern humans hear about you from classic stories and movies. They believe you wear exotic clothing with head decorations that resemble a peacock's tail. And it seems you confirm that with your appearance at annual festivals. When people hear about the Aztec, they only know about it generally, an ancient empire located in Latin America. They only know you have pyramids like Egypt, but their location is in the middle of the jungle. The rest? People do not even know exactly where the civilization was located. What is worse, they even think Aztec is just one remote place. They do not know that as an empire, the Aztec also has its own cities, including your hometown, Tenochtitlan. You can say proudly that Tenochtitlan is the heart of the mighty Aztec Empire, a metropolis that accommodates hundreds of thousands of souls, with towering pyramids glorifying the gods. Yep, of course you know the pyramid we discussed earlier is in this city. In this civilization, you are a Matsehualtin, a commoner. You are a farmer, and you lower-class population, while the other 80% choose to be warriors and traders. That seems like a heavy responsibility for you. Unlike the Pippleton, the nobles who live near the sacred temple area, your house is on the outskirts of the city. You live in a simple house made of mud bricks. Nature grants the sunlight to dry the mud so you have a place to shelter. You and your neighbors have the same job. Although your civilization is very close to nature, the fact is you are not that primitive. Maybe you are 150 years behind in weaponry and military, but you are quite advanced in other fields such as architecture, city planning, and agriculture. Look at the sundial, which is your time reference. You not only use it to create a daily schedule, but also annual activities. Everything is good. Everything is precise. You are part of a civilization that knows when to do what. You wake up when the stars begin to leave the dawn sky. Being late is not in your dictionary. You bravely face the cold morning air and the dampness of the jungle, unlike modern humans who even stay in bed after repeatedly hearing their alarm clock ring. When the transition from night darkness to morning brightness occurs, you can immediately breathe the aroma of Lake Texcoco and the blooming flowers in your floating field above it. Yes, a floating field. One proof that the Aztec civilization is indeed advanced. You create a small island from a mixture of soil, mud, and aquatic plants. Not only beautiful flowers, you also use it for gardening. Corn, squash, and other vegetables thrive in the middle of the lake. You are a genius in the jungle. The fragrant aroma of plants refreshes your nose. It is natural that your body is athletic because the oxygen level you breathe is completely unpolluted. In the morning that has just greeted you, you start the day with a cleansing ritual and a small offering to the household gods. This is a quiet morning, and you offer beans along with water. With a big heart, you thank them for the life granted to you, grateful for every breath you take, and worship them for bestowing resources capable of feeding the entire empire. After your spiritual needs are met, you fill your stomach so you can prepare to face a challenging day. Your breakfast is simple: a bowl of a thick drink called atole, and maybe some warm tortillas. For an empire whose jungle is filled with monkeys and jaguars, meat is something you rarely eat. Occasionally, you might hunt deer in the forest, but what is more often your main food is corn, beans, chili, and squash. Oh yes, of course you can always fish in the lake for your daily protein needs. Everything makes you healthy because it is sourced from nature. So far, your daily life is basically not much different from the outside world civilization. Not even much different from modern humans. Except maybe modern humans can only complain about their miserable lives with jobs that only make the days monotonous and feel empty. Anyway, you have breakfast by eating moderately. There is never a place to eat as much as possible that will make you too full and lazy to move. Immediately after that, you rush to the canal. The calming sound of flowing water greets you. Because Tenochtitlan is a city surrounded by water, the canal is your highway. You are very lucky to have traffic that will never be congested. With your small canoe, you paddle towards the Chinampa, your floating field earlier. Tomatoes, chili, and corn that are ready to be harvested await your arrival. Yes, These are the vegetables you pick for lunch, dinner, and breakfast the next day. Then you will do the same cycle. Like outside world farmers who spend their days in the fields, you will also spend your time in the Chinampa. You will dig lake mud, then pile it up into a new small island, or expand the existing island. Not only chili and tomatoes, but what accompanies the corn in your unique land are beans and squash. As a mighty Aztec human, you do not mind doing work in the Chinampa even though it looks exhausting and never-ending. Your main task is to irrigate the ditches, plant new seeds, and ensure the mud remains rich in nutrients. The great thing about you is rarely using metal for farming. You prefer to rely on your sturdy arms plus the knowledge from your wise ancestors. Every drop of your sweat helps irrigate the plants, or directly drips, becoming one with the vastness of the canal. That is, if you choose to work in the Chinampa. But if you decide to become a craftsman, your story will be slightly different. You might choose to become a potter, and your artwork will be a display in the temple. Animal statues will add a sacred atmosphere. Your handmade pots will make food taste even better. The trays and jugs you fire will later be displayed for banquets. Or you will be a weaver. The beautiful clothes worn by the empire's elite are the result of your hands. That luxurious headdress is your hard work. Modern-era humans admire your artwork and fashion sense. Whatever it is, you have chosen the path of working in the Kalpuli's workshop. Every Kalpuli has a specialization, but not to compete, but to help each other. In the end, it is all about balance, isn't it? What is the use of eliminating each other if it only damages the neat order of life? But that does not mean the work you do is only for contributing to the community. You do not only use your fresh harvest in the Chinampa for your own needs. You also will not let all your artworks in the Kalpuli end up being dedicated to the temple. You will also bring some of your work results to the city center, where there is Tenochtitlan, the great market. As I said, you are not a primitive civilization. You have a market and conduct economic transactions like other civilizations. And when I say market, it is literally a market full of bargaining sounds. People from every corner of the empire gather and interact in the only language you understand, Nahuatl. You are one of the people who come there and are willing to jostle to sell your harvest or crafts. Sometimes your ears are deafened listening to the person next to you bargain at an unreasonable price. Yes, that is natural. The great market is indeed full of good stuff. Not only vegetables, but there is also cocoa, gems, beautiful quetzal feathers, even edible insects. The unique thing here is that your market does not use gold or other metal coins for transactions. You do bartering. Suppose you want to buy new pottery, then you will exchange it for a bag of tomatoes or squash from your garden. Or maybe you want to buy an axolotl for dinner. Just exchange it for some cocoa beans. Your transactions are guaranteed safe and free from scammers. That is because in the middle of the market, there is a judge who ensures transactions run fairly. Thieves and fraudsters in the market are guaranteed not to escape because Aztec punishment is very brutal and fast. You are part of the people who respect the law, including in the place that is the pulse of the Aztec civilization. But that is not all. Because the most special moment in your daily life is the trip to the city center. You paddle the canoe slowly, passing through the busy canal and seeing the Piptilan, the elite, wearing beautiful clothes produced by the people from the Kalpuli. They walk with mighty warriors whose heads are decorated with large feathers. You see them heading to the magnificent pyramid. You constantly admire the towering building with many stairs. From a distance, you can see the many offerings placed around the pyramid, and some more on the altar. As a human close to nature, your gratitude to the gods overflows. Look at the Templo Mayor, the largest pyramid. You immediately imagine the grandeur of Huitzilopochtli, the god of war, and Tlaloc, the god of rain. You look at their pyramid with respect and a little fear, because you believe they reside there. That belief makes you not hesitate to contribute to the empire. Like paying taxes in the outside world. You pay taxes in the form of goods, your harvest, your handicrafts, or even your labor for public projects. Tax officers ensure that you do not run away from your obligations, because what you pay will be considered the price for the protection and order provided by the empire. Do not forget education. All Aztec people, both nobles and commoners, have the right, even must, go to school. You are taught various important sciences such as religion, agriculture, and the art of war. You may only be a farmer or a craftsman, but you are also a man who must be ready to take up arms to defend the empire. Among the rivers and forests, amidst the chirping of hornbills and the ferocity of hungry pumas, you live your life just like modern humans. That is because you are not at all a shallow-thinking human. You know exactly how to utilize your natural resources. You never exploit because you believe you are a part of it.